Synergy. We've been working on it for 2 years. The basic concept is this was based on a patent that was used by Randall and Egnator at some point. We acquired the patent fully and spent 2 years designing it and bringing it back to life. The major differences between all the previous generations and this generation is both the modules and the hardware itself. So, the first thing we did is that all the old Randall preamps were one channel. Egnators were 2 channels. All Synergy modules are 2 channels. Many of the modules are actually from the companies themselves. So as opposed to saying, oh, this is a module that sounds like a Friedman BE, it's actually designed by Dave Friedman. Mike Soldano's SLO is actually designed by Mike Soldano. Joe Morgan's is designed by Joe Morgan's. And then we also have Diesel and Egnator and 65 amps and many other companies coming. So it's really actually based on their circuit. A lot of other changes were made. In the previous version of these systems, you had a fixed cathode biasing. And in all of the new Synergy hardware, once you insert the module, it knows which module is inserted to it, and it will change the circuitry to best match the original circuitry of the amplifiers. And to go a step further, it's actually controlled by this little switch, and this is preset to what Dave Friedman is amplifier. But if you actually want to change it, you can actually tweak it if that's what you want. A lot more innovation. One of them is sag control. It mimics amplifiers voltage sag. That's licensed from Frayette. It's under license from them. The other thing that this thing does, which is unique for both the E1 and E2, is you can connect it to a power amp. That's option number 1. And we actually make our own, 2x50 watt made in USA, power amp that's bridged into 100 watts. Again, this was designed under license from Frayette. What you can do is you can actually take this and add channels to your existing rig. So if you have a Marshall amp and it's got a series effects loop, you can patch in the E1 or the E2 or the Syn 1 and the Syn 2, and you can actually add channels to that amp without losing the channels of that amp. So if you have a Marshall 1-channel amp, you plug in this, the Syn 2, and you end up with a 5-channel amp. And then we also have a tabletop record version that has 1 module, which is essentially 2 channels. The other thing it has is cap simulated record output that's also bypassable. Not only does it have a level control, but you can also bypass it if you want to use IRs in your computer. Also has a built-in effects loop, and there's basically 5 pieces of hardware. There's the Syn 1, which is a tabletop record unit. We'll show it to you in a minute. The Syn 2, which is a 2-slot, the power amp, and then there's a 50-watt head. And then right after the show, we're going to have a 25-watt head with a built-in clean channel. So you have a clean channel and 2 separate modules. One of the things that we're doing here, where are those bag of Synergy caps? I'll show you in a second once I get my bag of parts. Hey, William, where are those yellow capacitors? Where? So one of the other things that Synergy did is we took over the worldwide distribution of these American-made mustard-type capacitors. They're actually quite expensive. They're made in USA. Really authentic in terms of delivering the secret sauce. And they're used throughout, where it makes sense, they're used throughout the Synergy hardware and the modules themselves. We've got 9 modules today, but in the next year you're going to see a whole lot more in terms of what they're doing. So that's it. That's Synergy. that's the concept. There's the digital world in modeling. This is the analog version of the same. So if you actually want to get tube tone, maybe you should try things that have tubes. That's it, right? Pretty much. And then at the end of the day, it's how it sounds, right? So have fun with it. I gotta go finish a catalog. And
You can ask me questions.
Yeah, you can just literally plop in whatever you want. You get the sound. This is fully MIDI. Not fully MIDI, but all the channels are fully MIDI. So it's switchable MIDI, which is cool. So it's got 5 basic functions: channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, and then the 5th position, which you can program as bypass. So in a recording session, bypass is just simply where is it?
That's the button.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're in it. There you go.
So now I'm in bypass mode, which is basically a mute. When you connect it to another amp, that 5th setting, that's what routes the signal back to your amp. Okay?
It's the preamp of the other amp.
It's the preamp with other amp. So we're using the power amp from whatever you want, and we're switching in the preamps. So it's a kind of a built-in looping system. But what we did is, which is very important, was making sure that when you go through this, it doesn't alter your amp's tone. And that's a big year development to make sure that our isolation transformers and everything that we're doing is not going to introduce hum or noise or affect your amp. And that was a big thing that we did. So when you connect it to this, your amp is essentially unaffected. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Good. Catalog. What do you think? Great.
Cool stuff.
Gotta finish this catalog.
Wait, I'll get one of the little ones so you can see what that is. It might not be labeled yet, but. Not labeled on the back, but it will be. So you can set this on top of your amplifier head, add another channel, or well, 2 kind of, to your existing amp. Or you could use it for direct recording, direct to the house. Has an effects loop built in, mono one in this one. Channel switches with a 2-button foot switch. One to toggle between this and the other amplifier's preamp. The other one to toggle between the channels on this.
So in case of the HP, it would be another set of gain and volume.
Yeah, exactly. So my module, just 2 different gains and volumes, so you can set them differently. Same thing with the B module we have and Dirty Shirley module we have. The Dirty Shirley module that we're doing is a little different. One of the channels is cleaner, sort of like Dirty Shirley in a cleaner position on the gain structure switch. And then the other one is the normal. And that will be done tomorrow, I think. So it's not that bad. It's not even that heavy. Not bad. But it really does the cabinet simulated DI outs. I think if you look at my Facebook and maybe synergies. But on my Facebook, personal Facebook, for sure, there's a video of me playing through it into a studio monitor on my bench,
Okay.
and it sounds great.
But you also can disable the caps and
Yeah, you can just so it's a direct. Then it's just a direct DI, and then you can put an IR on it, impulse response or something in your recording situation.
What about the power? It's 2 by
The power amp's 250 watt.